So that's Chabad. Okay, now I'm going to talk about some of the other Jewish Dominionist groups operating in Israel. We have the Jewish Home Party. This is a political party that is in the Knesset and is in the government itself. Yinon Magal, just in the last couple days, it's been exposed that he's a serial sexual harasser and sexual assaulter of women that worked under him. But in any case, talking about his racism as opposed to his sexism, among other things he says, the Arab nation, all it brings to the world is murder and blood. Now, the thing about Yinon Magal is he champions, he says, the right for Jews to pray on the Temple Mount. He says he's going to fight, in his words, for that right. Kind of casting himself as some kind of civil rights leader. Now the thing is, there's this discourse in Israel. There are these groups that want to demolish the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Now keep in mind, this is like, all of Palestine has been colonized. It's all under Jewish rule. This is like one little piece of land left that is still under some sense of Palestinian sovereignty, where Palestinian people actually have some measure of control over what goes on there. This little place that's the mosque compound. But Yinon Magal is supposedly saying, I'm not with those people that want to blow up the mosque and demolish it and build a Jewish temple on top of it. No, I'm just asking for a fight for the right of Jews to pray there. Well, I would have had an easier time believing you, Mr. Magal, if when you were announcing this determination to fight for that right, you didn't upload a selfie of you hugging up with the very terrorist who sat in jail for many years for plotting to blow up the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Maybe I could have been sold on it a little easier if you hadn't uploaded that photo, but we see that this is the pattern of the Jewish Home Party, that they bring known terrorists into the halls of power to advise the government. This is their hallmark. So we move on in the Jewish Home Party. Ayelet Shaked, recently called Woman of the Year by Globes magazine. And of course, you may know her as the woman who last summer wrote a Facebook post saying, "Who is the enemy? The Palestinian people are all enemy combatants." This also includes the mothers. So there's no such thing as a civilian. Men, women, children, old people, they're all combatants, they all deserve to die. It's a call for genocide. She then goes on to say, their blood shall be on their heads, nothing would be more just. And so Netanyahu then went ahead and made her justice minister, appropriately. So this woman, I see her once she goes to the justice ministry. I see her meeting with this man, this bearded man behind her. I wasn't really altogether sure about who he was, so I kept, pouring into it, and I see that also the head of the Jewish Home Party, Naftali Bennett, maybe you remember him from such statements as, "I've killed many Arabs in my life and there's no problem with that." But I see he also has been meeting with this man consistently over time, again and again. I see them photographed together all across the country, even in the halls of the Knesset itself. And so I had to do a little bit of digging, and it turns out that this man actually is a terrorist himself, a convicted terrorist. He and a group of others attempted to assassinate several Palestinian politicians, several mayors of Palestinian cities on a single day. In fact, this man, he was once the mayor of Nablus until those Jewish terrorists set off bombs and blew off his legs. And so this man, who sat in jail for these attempted assassinations, for mutilating this man for life, he is now an advisor to the Minister of Education in Israel. So I can rest assured that the youth are going to be instructed, on healthy values. So we've talked about Chabad, and we've talked about the Jewish Home Party. Well, now let's have a few words about a third Jewish Dominionist group in Israel, Lehava.